come in and she's just gonna like lay down next to you and like have a conversation with you. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I was like, you guys, I know what you're gonna do with that scene. You're gonna do me dirty. You're gonna cut it and make it look like she was like, you know, hanging out in the bed with us in the morning. Like, nope, not fucking doing it. But they fucking figured it out. They
figured it out, bro.
Like, all right, all we're gonna have her do is sit up. And I was like, okay, so I can deal with that because, like, you know, your mom comes in, hey guys, what's up? Like, you know, but like they made the whole scene look like she was getting up, not sitting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, got up, was like already in the room with us and was like, hey guys, good day. So they did me dirty, and people were like, watching me online, bro. Like, it was like, you know, like, what the hell? And I'm like, bro.
I am your host, Preston Jackson, and we're gonna keep bringing them to you, keep bringing you interesting guests to explore their world and teach us something. Especially myself, I'm learning every time we do an interview with a guest, and this one's special also. A entrepreneur, a reality TV personality, a twin sibling, award-winning brand ambassador who has amassed over 2 million in product sales via TikTok Shop, a consultant. I would like to welcome to the show Mr. Josh McAloon. Josh, welcome.
What's going on, Preston? I'm happy to be here today, man. Seriously.
Yeah, man, this is good, man.
Yeah.
People should know your face. You know, love your dance, and you and the family are out there. You kind of do your thing. You have a good time with it. Just tell me, when this kind of all the social media fame started coming, we'll get deeper in this into the podcast also. When the social media fame started to come, what were the conversations on the couch at night? Like, babe, like we're popping. Like, what were those conversations like?
It's kind of funny how that works, because like I feel like most people never think that they are like you always have a negative opinion. Oh, we're not as big as we need to be, or, you know. And it was kind of one of those things where it's like people started recognizing me in public, and like we'd be sitting on the couch talking about it, being like, hey, I got recognized for the first time ever. And when you get recognized, you kind of gotta act like you've been there before, right? So I'm kind of like, oh yeah, thank you. Meanwhile, I'm like, so cool. Like, somebody recognized me from online. Like, what the fuck? Like, what, and then it started happening more and more, where like me and my brother would just be out, and it'd be like, oh my God, I watch your videos online. And it's funny because we resonate with a lot of like people who, it doesn't matter if you're into sports or if you're into business. Who doesn't drink coffee? If you don't, you know, maybe there's some people who don't, but people drink coffee and they like dancing, they like singing, and they like just general fun. So when our videos go out there, we get, 5, 6, 10 million views on our big videos, and people love it. They love the vibe. They, when they tell us it brings them happiness in the morning when they're heading to work, they're like, every morning I hope to see a Duncan video from you and your brother. So yeah, it was cool to like first experience of, kind of feeling like what it's like to get recognized in public and be like kind of like a personality in many ways. And then of course with the reality TV show, that took off even more.
Man, so go into it, jump into it. We'll rewind, but the reality TV show. Talk to us about the reality TV show. How'd that take off? What was the name of the whole nine?
Yeah. So we're on a show. We're actually filming another season coming up this, in the fall. We'll be filming season 5. And basically, like, we joined this show based off of our social media following. It's called I Love a Mama's Boy. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because, like, even though it's called I Love a Mama's Boy, it's about, like, the dynamic of my wife and my mom and me all, like, living under one roof. We have this big house with, like, I have 5 kids, and it's, like, it's a cool dynamic. So the idea is that, I, like, take care of my mom a little bit too much. And, focus on her more than my wife sometimes. So I think being on reality TV and the experience of it is, it's by the way, it's recentered my like image of what reality TV is. Because when people say it's fake or scripted, I actually don't agree with that. What it is that they're portraying real life stuff. But like, think about it. We got to get it on camera, right? So like when things happen, the cameras aren't always there. So they might say, hey, that crazy event that happened to you guys, I want you guys to replay that. I want you guys to go to that place again. I want you to have the same experience and authentically engage with, whatever it is, what we're doing on that day. So reality TV was like really where we started taking off.
Okay.
We had a lot of followers, but once we were on like network television and on Prime, that was when all of a sudden like I was getting like lots of followers, and we were having people just engage with us in a higher level. It wasn't like, hey, I see you on TikTok. It's like, holy shit, my family watched you on TLC last night after we
Mm-hmm.
watched 90 Day Fiance. So so I was going to the TLC events, being at TV, recordings. It was really fun, and it was a really awesome experience. Cameras following me wherever I go. I felt famous, even though
Yeah.
I consider myself like I'm. By the way, I'm famous, Preston. I'm famous
Yeah.
with 35 to 55-year-old moms with like multiple kids, preferably
Yeah.
still absolutely love me.
Yep.
So there's not a
Dude.
mom that doesn't know who I am.
And I can tell, man, because look, no, I would not classify myself in the fame aspect, but there are times because I used to do broadcasting with our high school sports here locally,
Yep, yep.
and then there were people that would look at me like a long time, and in my head, I'm like, why is he looking at me so long? Why is she looking at
Yeah,
me so long? And then I have to remember he or she has probably seen me do some type of broadcast on TV. And
yeah.
then, it kind of relaxes me, but because I don't think about it, I just rock out through my normal day, but just rock out through my normal day. But then it's like, okay, he or she is probably recognizing me. That's why I'm getting that look or whatnot. So, but your level of fame, never experienced it. But where did young Josh come from before all the fame and fortune? Take me back to young Josh.
So like I tell everybody that like, kind of I'll go to that, but like first off, the key to life is that like, never think you're bigger or smaller than what you are, right? Always
Right.
be who you are, right? Love
Mm-hmm.
love where you're trying to go. And if you do that, all those things will come out. I'm a child of a single mother, right?
Yeah.
My dad was, for lack of a by the way, I have a good relationship with my dad today because I'm not the type of person who holds grudges or goes, oh dad, like you did this to me. I'm the type of person where it's like, I'm like, wherever you were in your life, it made it so you couldn't be in my life. Which
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that that's your fault or anyone's fault, my mom's fault. Like, I'm just going to leave it at that was our experience, right? So I
Okay.
grew up with no father, around three boys, all fist fighting in the back seat of the car, and just going nuts to a mom who literally would cry because of how, like, think about it. My brother is my twin, so we're the same age, and then our other brother's 13 months younger than us. So you have
Wow.
two 13-year-old boys and a 12-year-old boy all sitting in the back seat, fist fighting, whatever it is. We're all competitive, and I didn't realize just how hard that was on my mom being a
Mm.
single mom, because sometimes I would catch her like crying. I would catch
Mm.
a moment where I'd be like, why is she crying right now? And at the time I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Mom, why are you
Yeah.
crying? Like, be like, oh, I'm fine, because she didn't want us to see her like struggling. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I grew up like that. So I feel like it was very fitting that I became a girl dad and I had all my girls first, basically, because
Yeah.
I have a level of sensitivity towards moms. I don't care what anyone says. I'm a dad. Moms are the bread of, and they're the what holds a family together. They are.
Yeah.
Moms do the work. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's no dads out there who do it. There are, but like in my experience, the moms, like, if you have a strong mom and a strong foundation, you're gonna be kids can be successful having a strong mom who they see work hard. So that's kind of where I come from. Boston raised, love Boston sports. Three brothers, and then of course I was a Boston sports fan, and then I
Mm-hmm.
married into a family, three generations of NFL players. Like, for me, it was crazy, But I'm sure we'll
Right.
get into. Yeah, that was kind of me growing up. I was a fighter. I was always in trouble, Preston. I was like, no, me and my brother Jay, we were kind of infamous. I was like, it was bad. Like, I was like the preppy kids at school, and all the people, like, they disliked us because we were always in trouble. So they would like stay
Okay.
away from me. So me
Okay.
and Jay hung out with, like, the kids who always got in trouble. It was just me and all the troublemakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. I thought that because I didn't have a dad and people judged me that way, and they were like, oh, you guys are like nuts, you guys are always in trouble. I just acted that way, knowing in my head, like, this ain't even me, but I was just doing it. So it was kind of like a crazy, thing that I had held on to, and until I finally got out of high school and I was away from the people that knew me for something else, and I became
Yeah.
this completely different person.
What's your sports background?
Man,
Where'd you play ball?
I played football. I was a quarterback in high school, so
Okay.
I started. I was a big football player, and it's funny. I was big in football, big in basketball. I'm 6'4", like, so I was always really athletic. Ran track. I was always like a crazy athlete. And by the way, Anthony, who's a professional, Anthony, my brother-in-law, he's a professional athlete. I don't care. I whoop his ass in just about any other freaking sport, bro.
We'll set it up.
I whoop his ass. And it's funny because the thing is about that is that, like, all these professional athletes, I'm calling them all out because do you know how many times, because I'm like, I'm like the, like, 36-year-old, like, like, really, lack of a better way of putting it, like, dad, white boy, like, so no, this true story, man. His buddies who are all NFL players, I'm really good at basketball, and I'm yet to be beaten by one of his boys, but they laugh when I talk. We're talking one-on-one, and I'll be like, yeah, I think I can handle you in basketball, and this is what I get. Oh my God, like, come on, son. Like, and I'm sitting there like, yo, you laughing at me right now. I'll fly down. I flew down to Florida to play one of his boys, professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Still active in the league, like 28 years old. I'm 36. I was like, bro, here's the thing. I'm not even going to take the ball until I stuff your face for laughing at me in front of everybody.
Stop. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. And I ended up whooping his ass. And his fucking girl was right there, his girl. And I was like, listen, I'm sorry I had to do this in front of the girl. And he actually was humble enough to be like, yo, I should have never judged somebody by the book. Like, 36 years old.
Right.
Not like I'm fit, but I'm not like, I don't got no 6-pack abs or anything like that. And these guys, it's just, so I'm always a good athlete, and I challenge any professional athlete, not in their sport, by the way. I'm not an idiot.
Okay.
I'm not an idiot.
Right.
Not in their sport to play me, because you'd be surprised if you don't judge people, because I never do that. I make sure you tell me you're good at something. I'm like, hey, bro, you might not look like a guy who's good at that, but I'm fucking scared, because if you say you're good, I'm not trying to like go against you.
So we need it. So that's the issue. We'll issue the challenge then. We'll put it out there.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to get at Josh in a sport outside of their professional sport where they get paid to do, we're on it.
I'm not an idiot.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. When Willie, his name's Willie. I don't know if you know Willie. He was a professional baseball player. Played at baseball at the U. Good athlete. But he literally called me out, and it was one of those things where once call me out. I'm talking, by the way, not for nothing. He was working for me at a company, and CEO is in the room, and he starts laughing as I said, hey, I think I could play. I think I could beat you, like, in basketball. Like, and he's like, he literally did the, and he was like, almost like, hey man, sure, like almost like a pat on your little head, like, okay, buddy. And then I proceeded to wax him, like, just waxed him, and it was just like, oh shit, like, you weren't playing, and I was like, yeah, I told you, man, I play basketball.
So
like,
who's your game? Who do you pattern your game after? Give me an NBA player that you kind of model.
See, I'm like a Larry Bird kind of guy,
Okay.
I don't have crazy hops, but I could shoot. I was always good at shooting,
Yeah.
And but like the one-on-one game, non-NBA players, non-college basketball players, I challenge anyone. I challenge anyone because I played enough where I can play, and I'm tall enough, right? 6'4". Right. I'm not beating a basketball. The thing is, like, you know how they say the people who think they can beat, like, Serena, like, oh, I think I could score a point against Serena. It's like, you can't.
Yep.
I can't. I'm not beating a 5'10" NBA player. I'm just not.
Right.
Like, that's his game. That's his world.
Right.
It's his sphere.
Right.
I can't do it. But some football player who thinks he's like, gonna just bowl me on, that's what it is. They think, oh, I'm 280 pounds. I'm just gonna bully you. It's like, no, you're you're gonna get gassed trying to bowl me. You're gonna get gassed. So
now people Bird was more athletic than people give him credit for, and Bird was a fantastic defender too.
Oh yeah, dude, that's the defense. That's why bro, I will. You're not bullying me. Anthony thinks he can bully me when we're on the court. That's like his big thing. He's a linebacker. So what does he do? backs me down.
Yep.
But what it is he might score like one basket or two baskets, but you get worn trying to back somebody down.
Yep.
So then when the game comes into play, we're moving around. That's when I'm taking him. I'm taking him because he's just not quick side to side. But if you were like linebacker drills, I'm not stepping up. I'm like,
Right.
nope.
Right.
No, I'm gonna break something.
Right. We'll get this even medium. We'll get this happy medium right here in the middle.
Happy medium. Yeah.
So speaking of chick, all right. So you grew up obviously in Boston, and you start dating this young lady, and she mentions her family's kind of big in football.
Yeah.
Intimidated at all or no?
No, because here's the thing. Like,
okay,
how many people do you meet where they're like, "Yo, my brother's like big in football," and then you find out he's big on a local scene. You're like, hey, that cat's like, he goes to a D4 school and yeah, he's a star there, but like on the main scene. So my first thought was like, oh, this girl's like, it's her brother. She's gassing him up. Like,
hold on. Wait. I got it. Hold on. Let's get the timeline. When did you meet Janelle? I need to know what was that year that you started? When did you start dating?
2011. I met her on, I don't know if she's going to like me telling this story, but she might kill me. But
okay.
I met her on chat roulette.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what that is.
I do not.
All right. So chat roulette, a lot of people will know what this shit is. It was basically like it would be like this. Me and you pop up on the screen, but I know nothing. I don't see your name or nothing. And I can be like doing whatever, saying whatever. And if you next to me, I never know who you were or where you were from, nothing. Okay. And the site was known for dudes like being a little too showy and, and girls being like, oh, it's gross. So people just messed around. She was messing around with her friends and my buddy was on there and they stopped. My buddy was pretending to be Vinny from Jersey Shore. So this a little bit, he's pretending to be Vinny. He kind of looked like him. So he had like the chain on. He was doing the like kissy face, like, what's up? And she stopped on him almost kind of to like, I don't want to be mean, but to like laugh and be like, oh, he's trying to be Vinny. And I pulled the computer away and I was like, yo, where are you from? I was like, don't next to me. Like, give me your Skype. This was when everybody used Skype. Like you didn't use Facebook, like Skype them. So I Skyped her and I lied to her and told her, I was like, yo, me and my boys are going to Florida for spring break. And they're like, we are? And I'm like, yeah, we fucking are. Like, so book that shit. So we booked it. Long story short, when I got down there to meet her, I didn't know nothing about like her family, whether, I didn't know her dad was in the NFL, her grandfather was in the NFL. So when she was initially telling me, oh, I just got back from my brother's, football game, he's like real big. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'll probably, I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, if he wants to challenge me, he's like, I think at the time he was 15, I'm like 19 or 20. So I'm like, then I meet him and I'm like, yo, I mean, he's I want that to be my boy. Like,
right.
And me and Anthony, we've known each other since we were like teenagers, really. So me and Anthony, we actually do fight like brothers. Like, his mom will be like, all right, guys, like, we'll be like playing Madden, like the old school, like playing Madden, boom, we're at each other, like, whatever. And I don't back down. I'm a Boston guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's a true moniker of people from Boston. We have, like, I don't care. Like, none of my buddies, we're known for that. Like, again, it's not a good thing, but like, I'm never backing down. It's like, I'm just not. I don't care if it's one of his buddies from the Steelers. Like, it's 6'8", 300 pounds. I'm like, what's up? That's just my style. I'm a fucking nut, But meeting Anthony was, it was cool, and I obviously thought like, hey, this girl doesn't, she doesn't know sports, right? Like, but then find out the like history and like, they're one of only 7 families in the history of the NFL that's 3 generations. So really look at what they accomplished as a family. And what Anthony accomplished and what his dad accomplished. And it's really like, they put a lot of hard work into that their whole lives. Like Anthony, I remember like watching him grow up and all of his buddies are going out to all these events and everything. And he's at football camps. He's traveling for football. Like he ate, slept, and bred football every single day. It was his breath was football. Didn't really like party, was that guy all through college. And that's what got him to where he is. And, it's a testament to his hard work. And, and then, of course, through that time, he's battled demons and everything. And I'm sure we can, I don't know how much we can talk about that, but like he's gone through a lot. And,
Yeah.
but like being part of that experience it's been fun, man. I would not change my wife's, I know she's going to see this. My wife is a saint. Like
Yeah.
everybody who meets Nell, they realize like she really is an amazing mother, amazing
Yeah.
wife, and a great influencer.
Yeah. Yeah. I obviously we met her. The show previously, her show will drop today.
Yeah.
All right. So she was fantastic, man. And it was surprising me. She was nervous coming on. She's like, yo, this is my first podcast. I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, girl, you got 1 million followers across all your socials and you're nervous to get on here with me? She's like, man, this is my first podcast. I said, stop. You're going to be just fine.
Hey, don't undersell her. She's got like 2.5 million.
There you go. She's got a grip. I'm like, girl, you got a grip of viewership.
Talk her up.
You got a grip of viewership. Do not be nervous getting on here.
You know what's funny about that is that I find it to be that a lot of people on social media are actually surprisingly shy. Because like, you got to remember when you're filming your content, you're alone in your house, you're editing it, and then you put it out to the world, so people have this image of you. But now it's pretty authentic, but that image of you still isn't the full you, right? It's right. It's whatever brand you're trying to like be, which is like she's a mom, but she's also a ton of other things as you are, right? Like you're a podcaster, but there's a lot of other things in your life that you're not talking about every day. People might know about it, but you identify as different things, and there might be things that you're nervous about and things that you're not quite confident in. But we don't talk about those things because sometimes those things are hard to talk about, right? The hard shit, like the things that we hate about ourselves, or the things that other people have called us out for, like because we all have blind spots. You know what I'm saying? We have blind spots, and you'll be like, somebody will tell you, "Hey, Josh, you always act like this," and you'll be like, "I don't see that," but you have to be careful because a blind spot is the name of it, right? You don't know you don't see it. So like, I try to be aware of those things. But yeah, Nell's shy. She's actually very shy. Like, so in public, when somebody says hi to her, she's like, "Oh, hi." Like, I'm like, "Oh, if you all know me, let's get this party cracking,"
When you started popping on socials, was there ever a concern about the lack of privacy?
Yeah, I mean, especially with the TV show, yeah. So like social media, I feel like TikTok and Instagram, it's kind of changed where like I think, anybody who wants to get a viral video can get a viral video. You just got to like post, right? But I think once I hit TV and it was like I got a lot of like, you get hate. For whatever reason, there's just like I'd say a subset of people, everything's on a bell curve, right? 90% of people are like law-abiding, good people. They don't want to be assholes in public. But then you have 5% on each side, which are like the 5% angels who are like just almost like toxic positivity. And then you have the people who no matter what will just be negative all the time. Because that's a real thing. Toxic positivity is a real thing. But yeah, you still get some like nasty people. They say some, shit about like, it could be anything, your family, your mom, your wife, something. And there's always something that I feel like they're out there to just hate on people. And there is a lot of people that just hate on people.
Do you ever address that when it comes up?
Yeah. I made a video like 2 weeks ago, big influencer in Boston. A big influencer. This big she's a podcaster. She's got like 5 million followers. She's like she works with like Mark Wahlberg and all the she does all kinds of stuff. She blocked me on social media. And I talked about it because I called it out because I had never talked to her in my life. But people alluded to like the fact that my videos were in the same kind of world as she is in with like Mel. And I saw it. I've never talked to her in my life. So I posted it and said, "Hey, that's hate. In my eyes, that's hate. You're hating on me for whatever reason. I don't know, but I love calling that shit out. I'm not afraid to call out anything, bro. I'll go right on social media and talk about the real shit because I feel like people like real shit. They do. That's the one I tell. One thing about monetizing, and there's a lot of different things, but one thing is like you have to have that one element of your shit that's like kind of like fucking hits people. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about something that like, that's like, what, did he really just say that? Really? And it's like, that's why you think all these people who are out there like getting like, the Jake Pauls of the world, you think everything they're doing is just like that's me? No, they're like it's all planned. They know what they're doing. They know how to get the views at Mr. B.
Right.
They all know how to make a viral video. They know there's like really a couple elements. And by the way, even with the clipping podcasts, right?
Yep.
Being able to clip up your podcast so you get that like moment where I say something that like sounds like I'm saying more. Like, and then where do I find the rest of that?
Right.
And so that's kind of like, but yeah, I call out bad behavior whenever I can.
We talked to Kat, and Kat was telling us about the backside or the dark side of reality TV, right?
Yeah.
And you gave your explanation of reality TV also to start the show. But when you look at the reality show, your production of the reality show, are there times in the edit where you're like, yo, I wish they would not have edited that way. It looks one way. I did not want it to go like that. The editing sucked. Why did they edit it that way? Talk about it.
Yeah, that's a big thing, man. So, people don't realize that when you join a reality TV show, I would hear it from people. Oh, like, why didn't you tell them to like not do this or not do that? When you sign that paper, you have literally no say in what they put on the TV. Nothing. You have not a say. I mean, maybe if you're like Kim Kardashian, you can say, hey, you're not putting this in. But I'm just a regular person who was on a show and, kind of well known, but I have no say in what the network does. So once you sign that paper and you're on that show, you have no editing power. When they film, they film all day. So they come at 7 a.m. and they film all the way till 7 p.m. They're allowed to do 12 hours. They're all union people. So their unions call for no more than 12 hours of a workday. So when they're there, they maximize. They're there. And the cameras are always running. You're always mic'd up. You have a mic pack on and it's always running. And you say something, they can make it look like, a scene me and you are in, my face turns. They use an edit from something I said when I wasn't even filming. Right. And they make it look like I said it as I walked away from you. Like, they can do that. It's easy. They clip it in. They clip it in. And now that I've said this, I guarantee you, go watch a reality TV show and you'll see a scene where something crazy happens. And as they're saying it, you notice that their face ain't looking at the camera. And it also sounds like the sound wasn't in that scene. They try to do a good job of making it sound like the sound's in that scene, but sometimes you can almost hear that it's a little different. They said it at a different time, and they made it look like let's say I was like, maybe me and you are kicking. I'm like, fuck you, Preston. You don't talk shit about that to me. They make it look like you said, fuck you, Preston, and you say so they can really make you look bad. And there was a few scenes that they did, and they did me dirty. Oh. They did. Real dirty. Yeah. They did.
And what are those conversations like with your producer? Like, yo, why'd you do me like that?
They just go, hey, man, that's the game. That's the game. They did me dirty, bro. They did
Give me an example. Give me an example. I
don't even like talking about it, but I'll talk about it. But it's like, it's like weird to even say it out loud. They tried to make it or insinuate that my mom is in the bed with me and my wife sleeping at. Like, do you understand that? Like, you understand that as they were trying to pull that shit on me. So like, well, let me tell you what they did to me. They had me drinking. So I was like, they're like, hey, Josh, have a few drinks. So they're like, by the way, they already had my wife drinking like a couple drinks.
Right.
And they were doing a scene with her that I wasn't in. So then we're at our house in Florida. And they're like, hey, we're going to do this scene where like you and Nell are talking in the bed about like stuff. And then your mom's going to like come in and she's just going to like lay down next to you and like have a conversation with you guys. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I was like, you guys, I know what you're going to do with that scene. You're going to do me dirty. You're going to cut it and make it look like she was like, hanging out in the bed with us in the morning. Like, nope, not fucking doing it. But they fucking figured it out. They
figured it out, bro.
Like, all right, all we're gonna have her do is sit up. And I was like, okay, so I can deal with that because, like, your mom comes in, hey guys, what's up? Like, but like they made the whole scene look like she was getting up, not sitting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, got up, was like already in the room with us and was like, hey guys, have a good day. So they did me dirty, and people were like, watching me online, bro. Like, it was like, like, what the hell? And I'm like, bro, that would never, like, it's never happened. It never would. But they were trying to get that banging moment on social, on reality TV. Like mama's boy lets his mom hang out in the bedroom with him and his wife. Like, nah. So they did.
Go back. Tell me about the story where you and Nell tried to pull prank on mom, and you and Nell are sitting next to each other. You call your mom. She calls your mom like, "Yo, where's Josh at?" And mom's like, "Yo, he's right here. He's right here."
People ribbed me for that. That was
okay. So go back, set it up, and then tell me why everybody ripped you guys for that prank.
Yeah, so it was a prank, and it was like we tried to say like it was a skit.
Yeah,
like we tried to say that. We were trying to tell people like this is a skit. But you got to remember, once you post something, if you don't say that up front, if people don't want to believe it, they're going to think you're just trying to save face. Like it wasn't really a skit, but it was a skit. My mom was in on it. So the idea of the skit was it was preying on the fact that I'm a mother's boy. So like my wife was like asking where I am, and my mom's covering for me as if I'm like out cheating or like whatever. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want, right? And so now we're in the car, and she's like, let's see. It's a skit. My mom knows we're calling. Everything's set up. This thing, like Barstool posted it. It got like 100 million views, and it was like people were like, "That piece of shit lose." Like
really
on the call. Now calls my mom, and she's like, "Hey, Tina, where's Josh?" And she's like, he's here." And because she now goes, "Oh, he said he was going to be at the house with the kids, and I'm out." And she's like, yeah, he's here with the kids in the backyard. And she's like, "Well, can I talk to him? I really need him. I have something going on, and I need to speak with him." And she's like, "You know what? Now you need to stop getting all over my son's ass and let him live his life, okay? Like, you might be his wife, but let the man live. He's outside in the backyard with the kids. I'm not bothering him for whatever trivial shit you got going on." And people ripped me. They were like, "He's an asshole. Divorce him." Like, there's this guy on TikTok. He has like 10 million followers. He's the green flag, red flag guy.
Okay.
So it's like green flags for like good guys and good of things that men do. And then he does red flags for like, get rid of this guy, divorce him. He did like a triple red flag alarm on me where it was like, he flipped up the video of me talking shit, of like my mom talking shit about my wife and me sitting there reacting. I'm like listening to my mom talk shit about my wife. And I'm like, "Yeah, mom, let's go. Back me up." Like, and they're like, "What a loser. He's cheering on his mom. His wife's sitting right there. Divorce this mama's boy loser." And I was just like, got so much backlash for a skit. So then when "Hey guys, this is just a skit," they're like, "Yeah, right. Like, you guys did that shit on, like, you guys are just trying to cover your asses because your husband looks like a loser." And I was like, "Damn, man, I'm apparently like the loser. I'm already on a show called I Love a Mama's Boy."
Right. It's already there.
And now I disrespect my wife. And now, like, I'm just like, by the way, the green flag guy did a green flag video on me months before of me dancing with my daughter. So,
and then he triple red flagged you.
And then he triple red flagged me. So all of a sudden I'm a green flag, red flag. So I was like, Preston, that's a serious thing though. Social media, the reason why you or anybody who wants to do it should never care. Obviously you don't want to do something crazy that can hurt you, but like be yourself, because people will forget about it in a week. And not even a week. There's so much media and content now that you're forgotten in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds. They're on to their next TikTok video, their next outrage. So like, but when you have as many followers as we have and you meet people in public, sometimes I get like, some asshole who's like, "Oh yeah, you're a mama's boy." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I don't want to fight you, but gotta come." And then when they see me, I'm not a small guy.
It's a whole different energy.
I don't care what anyone says. Just height doesn't mean you're a good fighter. But like nobody, I don't care if you're not a good fighter. I don't want to fight a guy who's 6'4", 240 pounds.
Right.
He could be the worst fighter in the world. I don't want to fight him because he's just bigger. He's big. He might wrap me up. He might be able to, But so when they see me, they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool that you're a mama's boy." And I was like, "Oh, that's what I thought." They see my twin brother who's also 6.
Right.
"Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, no, we're mama's boys." And he's like, "No, I was just coming over to say hi to you guys."
That energy changes real quick.
It does change. I'm telling you, it does. Especially because me and my brother, we were always known for like, if you talk shit to one of us, you were talking shit to both of us.
You have to.
So, like, you had to deal with the squad.
You have to.
It's like, it's like, what's up?
All right. Give me a first reaction when I give you this word or this set of words. Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, breastfeeding.
You know where this is going, baby. You know where this is going. You know where it's going.
Man, listen. Hey, listen. I'm a guy out there. I love my wife. So to me, this is a badge of honor.
Okay.
Some people might not agree with it, but they might be like, I don't. That's my wife. She's my rock. She's my queen. Yep. So yes, I did help her in a situation, and take care of the stuck milk duct with my own mouth. Okay, and I'm proud of it.
Hey, that is a triple green right there, bro.
Green flag. Give me the. Actually, I should reach out to the triple green flag guy and be like, listen, my wife fed me from her breast.
Yes.
I'm a green flag guy. Yeah. Listen.
Green flag.
That's a true story. She was struggling, pain.
Yeah.
No. And she's like, babe. She's like, I don't know if she wants me to tell you this part. She was kind of trying to do it herself. She's like, kind of like trying to, And then I was like, babe, I got this. I fucking got this. And I did it. And
you did it.
It got put on like the New York Post.
Dude,
he posted talking about it. So the New York Post was like influencer like breastfeeds her husband. So
I ain't mad at it, bro. I'm matter of fact, I commend. That's D1. That's D1 husband stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, listen,
that's triple green.
Hey, listen, I'm all about it. Like my wife is everything. So
Yep.
I'm not. I didn't hate it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. I didn't hate it.
What was the pushback that you guys were getting?
Yo, it's just people like they people. I feel like people like pretend that like that shit is like beyond them. Like, I feel like there's like a pretentious group of people who are like they're like, that's disgusting. That's so like that's atrocious. It's like, I don't know, man. Then I don't know. What are you doing? You're probably boring as fuck, and your husband, you guys hate each other. Like, really, though, me and my wife, we pride ourselves in like loving each other all the time, no matter what. So like those types of things aren't weird to us, but to people it is weird. To people, it's like that's terrible. How could you do such a thing? And people just being like ew and judgmental type shit. But like at the end of the day, I've had a lot of crazy news stories written about me, good ones and bad ones. And at the end of the day, it all leads to the same thing. I'm focused on being a great dad. I'm serious. Like this isn't like this isn't just like a call out to like boast about dads, but I think being a dad is the number one thing a man can do in his life. I think like, think about it. Like when you're older, whether or not you were as big as Mr. Beast or as big as Jake Paul or as average as me or as average as someone else, whatever, like what you think about when you're older is your kids.
Right.
Like nobody cares that I had a podcast or I was on TV when I'm 75 years old.
Right.
But I raised these kids and whatever they become is what is like my mark. And I hope that they have nothing but great things to say about me as a father and saying,
don't stop dropping wisdom. Speak to the youth. All right. Because we have a large high school following and audience. And obviously we know that they can be reckless at times with some of their social media posting from somebody who has been very popular on social media, B, earned a relatively good income from social media, and C, has a reality show that they're featured on. What education would you give to the youth about how conscious they should be when posting on social media?
See, this is a crazy thing because I talk to high school kids all the time, right? And I'm part of the Big Brother, Big Sister program, so I have a lot of experience with this. And the one thing that is so frustrating as somebody who talks to kids, and I'm sure you do as well, Preston.
Yeah.
The one thing that's frustrating is like they don't know what they don't know. And it's almost like I want to fast forward them to their 30-year-old self so they can think the way I'm trying to help them think. Because even though I'm trying to help them, they see me as like, dude, you don't understand. And I'm like, if only you knew. You're like, I'll tell you this. When somebody gave me advice when I was 16, I would always be like, oh, what do they know? What do they know? And it wasn't until this one man I met when I was about 26 years old. He was a 59-year-old guy about to retire. And he had said to me, he goes, most people go through the same things in life, right? And he goes, you're going to go through this when you're 30. You're going to go through this when you're 35. And he's like, it might be different, but I want you to remember this conversation. And I'm telling you, like clockwork, things I didn't think would happen to me, happen to me. The way I thought, the way I lived. And I'd be like, man, that guy fucking told me.
Yep.
And the one thing I wish I could stress to high school kids and is to be yourself, right? And like, I didn't do certain things in high school. I shouldn't have been. I was good at football, but I should have been swimming. But I didn't want to swim because everybody was like, "Oh, the swimmers wear speedos," and that's like, you know, and I didn't do things because I other people's judgment. The thing I always stress to high school kids: nobody that you're with right now, typically, you're probably not going to be talking to any of these people when you're 30. Zero, zero, and that's not an exaggeration. Most people I know don't talk to anybody we graduated with. They might see them on social media. Oh, hey, I'm glad you guys are doing good, but they're not in their lives. So don't worry about what those people think. And if they don't, just cross them out and be like, hey, I'm trying to go places. And also don't over sweat things when you make a mistake, because you know there's that crazy story out of Texas that LSU, not Texas, the LSU player that on a
Lacey,
basically. Because of a mistake, he was driving in a car, and it's like, if only like we could live in, if only we could go back in time and say to that guy, hey, it feels like your world's over, but I promise you it's not. Like your world is not over. Like there is light at the end of this tunnel. There is God. There is things that can get you out of this. So a lot of young kids make one mistake or do little things and they think, oh, this is it. And it's not. It's really not. And when I go to the inner city schools in this area and talk to these kids, a lot of them want to be social media people. They're like, hey, I want to be a YouTuber. That's like the biggest thing. I get invited to schools and they're like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be this. How do you do it? The key is to be passionate about something and just consistently show people that's who you are. And then you'll be known for it. You'll be that's what Preston Jackson, whatever you want to be known for is what you can be known for. So if you're a high school kid or you're somebody out there who has dreams of doing certain things, you got to just do it. And honestly, screw anybody who's not cheering you on. And because there's people in the background who are secretly hoping you don't
against you.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yep. That's
and
the truth.
They might be standing there saying, oh, good job, but they're secretly hoping you fail. You got to root out those people and make sure that, listen, there's nothing been truer than this, Preston. Nothing's truer than this statement. Always don't be jealous of the people that are above you. Jealousy is not a bad thing. Feeling jealousy is a good thing. It means you're jealous because you might want that. Understand it and go talk to that person and say, hey, Preston, like I want what you have, and surround yourself with those people. Don't run from those people. You run from those people and you surround yourself with the wrong people, you're never going to get to that person. Seek out that person that you're jealous of. That's what I do. Every time I see someone on social media that has more followers than me, more engagement, I send them a message. And I go, I love your content. I'd love to collaborate with you. Your podcast is bigger than mine. Your whatever it may be. Embrace that and try to chase that person down. And then you'd be surprised. The one thing that I'm sure you know this being a podcaster, you'd be surprised how many people you can get in touch with just asking a few people that you mutually know. Like big personalities. People think stars are so hard and elusive. They're not.
That's what happened with Chick.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Anthony. Anthony put me in contact with his wife. He put me in contact with your wife. Your wife put me in contact with you, and just let it spread. And I know
people that I'm going to get you in contact with for your next podcast. Like my boy Mojo, who is a professional wrestler for WWE. He's an amazing, he's on TMZ. He has his own show on TMZ. He's a close, I consider him a close friend now. He's one of the most genuine people you know. He's friends, and you know who one of his best friends is? Rob Grunk. So, I get you in touch with him, and then, maybe he gets you with one of the Gronk brothers, because he has
see what happens.
Not for nothing. He has a company called Paragon. He employs all these wrestlers. I think he has 170 wrestlers, big ones that have millions of followers, and he's their agent. So you get on with him, and you have him on your podcast. Next thing you know, you're engaged with. So the next big person that you want to talk to is closer than you think. You'd be surprised how many people. Anthony's an elite networker.
Mm-hmm.
An elite networker. I mean, that guy, no joke. If I said to him, I want to get in touch with this star, he's like, hang on 1 second. And he'll make 3 phone calls, and next thing you know, he'll have that person on a call. Like I've watched it happen with anybody, big NFL personalities, big like people who are on TV. It's all about just having the balls to make the phone call and say, "Hey, I'm Preston, and I really would like to talk to you and have you on my show." That's it.
And to your credit, before we got on air, I asked you straight up, yo, I would like to do. I see you're doing this.
Yeah,
I'm respecting how you work like this. I've learned this about you. Show me how to do it, right? Just show me how to do it. Let's book this time, and obviously that's not for everybody to know what's going on, but it's the respect factor. You're doing something I would like to be successful in.
That's also humble too. That's
absolutely.
You actually know something I don't know, and I'm not afraid to say that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we find ourselves being afraid. I've done it before. You're in a group of people, and they're like, "Oh, hey, everybody, you guys are all monetizing, right?" And everybody's, "Oh yeah, I crush it." And you're like, "Yeah, I dominate." And you're really, you're like, "Dude, like, wait, you guys, wait, seriously, you guys, like, wait, you guys are getting paid to do this?" like, really? It's kind of like that movie, the movie with what's his face, Jennifer Aniston, and oh man, what's his face? They travel in the RV to like smuggle the drugs.
No, I don't know the movie, but go ahead.
It's called We Are the Millers. It's like,
okay.
Check it out. But basically, it's kind of like there's a scene in that where he's getting paid like $500,000, and he tells Jennifer Aniston like, "Hey, you got to pretend to be my wife because the family thing will get us across the border. I'll pay you $25,000." And then all the way down to he has this kid pretending to be his son, and he's not getting paid. So one day in one scene, they're all talking, and she's like, "To think I'm doing all this work for only $25,000," and the girl's like, "You're getting $25,000? I'm only getting 10." And then the kid's like, "You guys are getting paid?" Like it reminds me of that, because when you don't admit that you don't know what the hell you're doing,
correct,
and you're not making money, people, if you tell everybody you're monetizing, like I used to do it, and they would get mad at me. When we first started, I was like, "No, we got to pretend we know what the hell we're doing, or else they're not going to invite us." Right. So I would hear somebody talking about how, "Oh yeah, like this brand paid me $5,000," and they'd be like, "You work with brands?" And I was like, "Yeah, all the what brand don't I work with?" Meanwhile, at that point in time, we had never worked with a brand. We had never
till you make it.
We had never gotten paid to work with a brand. So, and you don't know what you don't know. And the thing is, it's really, I'm telling you that I live by that motto. It sounds so silly, but it's the truth. Like, live by that motto, because at the end of the day, you really don't know. And once you learn it, you're like, holy shit, that was easy. So it's like sometimes we get, listen, this isn't the growth. Sometimes brands will pay us $15,000 for one video. And I'm like, one TikTok? Meanwhile, a lot of people don't know just how easy it is to just go on, talk to a brand, and say, "Hey, if I drop," like even you with your podcast, if I drop your name in my podcast and say, "Hey," they don't care. Honestly, they don't care. Podcasts are big too, because the amount of money you make from an ad, from dropping a name in a podcast versus a person with 5 million followers is much more, because generally speaking, podcasts have like dedicated listeners. So even if you only have, let's say, 5,000 people who dedicate, you're basically guaranteeing that brand 5,000 people who know you and like you. They're not just like, "Oh yeah, Preston does viral videos where he like shimmies or something." It's like, no, Preston has this great podcast. So if I drop your name, they're like, "Sure." And you think it sounds crazy? You're like, 5,000. They're like, "Okay, cool. Like, yeah, we'll pay you $5,000." And so it's all about understanding that it's closer than you think to get that money from those brands. It is. It's making sure you do all the right things. And again, like you said, me and you will talk about that. I'll go through it with you and anybody who wants to learn how to monetize, because people, I feel, Preston, are scared. So there's two things. The people who know how to do it are almost like, "I don't want competition." So I'm not going to teach everybody how to do it. I'm just going to almost gloat and be like, "I'm a big influencer who makes a lot of money, but I'm not going to teach anybody and show them the ropes." And then you get the people who are scared to say that they don't know how to do it. So it's like this double-edged sword. So you gotta both be like, "Hey," because there's things that Nell and I don't know. There's things that I always say, my daily conversation with my wife, Preston, every day I wake up in the morning, swear, I wake up, I open my eyes, and Nell's laying there, and I'm like, "Babe, how do we get to the next level? There's levels to this game." and I feel like I'm on this level. How do I get to this level? And there's always the one thing I've learned is that no matter what level you get at, you're always like, I want one more level, and that's a good and bad thing. It
That's
is.
correct.
It's good that you want that, but at some point you have to be proud of where you got to. So I make sure to be humble and understand, like, hey, we say it all the time, Preston. We go, a lot of people don't make money on social media who want to. We are making money, we're making good money, and we're happy, but we also want that next level. We want that next big thing. We don't want 1 month brand deals. We want year contracts, and that's what we're working on. Duncan, I'm calling you out. I'm looking for Duncan to sign me to a 1-year deal. Go online and Google the Dunk Twins.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's you. That's
Just
it. That's you.
Me and Jay.
Yeah.
So I'm synonymous with it. Duncan, pay me.
I mean, it's sounds pretty reasonable to me.
Yeah, I mean,
because you guys flood your social feed with Duncan. I thought that you guys were getting paid by Duncan. That's how good it was. The content was good. It was creative. It had a lot of views. I was like, yo, they're not on contract with Duncan? Not yet.
Not yet, but I'm working. See, here's the thing. I know for a fact we've talked to franchisees who said that they talked about us in one of their big corporate meetings. Okay. So I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting. Yeah, exactly. Close, but still, I'm like, listen, but the truth is, I think, and I work with brands. This is authentic engagement. We actually truly do go to Dunkin' every day. We truly love it. So I would say to any brand, because I work with brands, I sign them deals. And one of the things that I talk about in my presentation to these brands is authenticity counts. And when people see that, like, I don't know, Preston's never done this, but all of a sudden he's saying, oh yeah, I use nicotine pouches or whatever it is.
Right.
Like, dude, no, you don't. Like, they paid you $5,000 and you're lying. So like I always tell brands, make sure they're authentic. So let's find people who have already posted about your brand or already bought your brand so that, like, we know that they like it. Mm-hmm. I'm that guy, like, which is funny. It's funny. It's almost like Duncan. I know, because it's almost like, dude, they're doing it anyways. So why don't pay them? Pay the other people who aren't doing it. Meanwhile, it's like, no, pay me.
Right.
And I'll get. By the way, $10K a month is a small amount. We get that for one video. I'm talking.
Right.
Pay me that monthly. And I'll do my weekly video on Duncan every single week. Millions of views, millions of engagement. By the way, I have companies, Preston, who reach out to me and message me and say, hey, we're doing a company event on, Wednesday. We would love you and your brother to come dance at our corporate meeting. Like, how much do you guys charge for that? And I'm like, honestly, it's a kind of double-edged sword, because I would love to do it, but, like, I don't know where I can stop with it, because technically I'm not employed by Duncan. So, like, I don't want to, I'm saying I don't want to do so much that they're like, hey, these guys just like, almost acting as if they're like Duncan ambassadors and they're not like legitimate Duncan ambassadors. Like, although we are, because, by the way, we do work with Duncan. They don't pay us. Yep. They send us free stuff. We're always talking to their brand people. So they know who we are. We know who they are. They follow me on social media. Yep. Like, they like all my videos. They comment. They say, hey, guys, like, we love your stuff. But it's like, take it to the next level, guys, and pay.
All right, so look, we're coming to the end, but I'm not letting you off. I'm not letting you off this easy, because you're a sports guy, and being a Boston guy, Jason Tatum goes down and your heart sinks. It has to. Yeah, I mean, if you're a basketball fan, your heart sinks, because not only was that about to be, it was going to be a shift in the momentum of that series, because Boston was in the thick of it, and that could have went 3-2 in their favor. And then they go back to Boston in game, it would have been game 6.
Yeah, game 6.
They would have got, yeah, right. So at the very least, they could have gone on, at least brought it within one game, because Tatum was on fire. I think it was like 41 points before he went down, right?
Yeah.
But you were talking, and you're like, yo, so let me ask you this. Is that possibly the last that we see Tatum and Brown together?
No, I don't think so. I think in my opinion, do we get rid of Brown? Kinda. He showed he's not the star, that he's no Jason Tatum. He proved that.
Well, hold on. I don't think he should be. I think he is. Now we're talking sports talk. Now I'm getting all excited, because this is what I love to do. But I think he's better as that as that Robin. Like he
Yes.
needs a Batman because
Plays
he's
who he
not
is.
a right. He
But
needs to be Robin.
he gets paid like a superstar though.
He does.
So
He
he gets paid
does.
like a superstar. So what I mean by that is if I'm the GM or I'm fucking Brad, I'm sitting there going, Brad, I'm like, we got White.
Mm-hmm.
White, in my opinion, is like I'm taking White over Brown. I'm taking White over Brown.
All right, that's gonna get some views.
The
Okay,
dude is a sharpshooter. He can go online if you're a gambling man. His 3 points per game is like 4. Like if the dude hits 4 3-pointers a game, he's a star getting paid as Robin. Jaylen Brown is getting paid like Batman, and Derek White's like sitting here like what? Like guy, like I'm banging threes. I'm averaging 26. Like I'm the guy. I'm Tatum's second in command. Like if I'm talking of 3 superstars, in my opinion, but Brown could be. I don't want to say superstar. Brown could be a star on most teams. Okay. Get rid of Brown, keep White, and get like another guy. And by the way, Porzingis, I don't know what he's dealing with. I know he's got that like crazy illness or whatever, and I don't know what that is, and it's kind of that freaks me out. Like I know it freaks him out too because I saw him talking in an interview. But like, get rid of Porzingis too, Porzingis and Brown, and bring somebody else in that complements what Derek White and Jalen, and Tatum are doing.
Availability is the best ability, and Porzingis over his career has shown that he's not always available. Right?
He's usually not healthy. There's something wrong with him.
Something going on. It's always something going on. Right. It's always something going on.
But the saddest part about Tatum to me, though, was like I felt like Tatum winning this year could have put him in. Listen, being a GOAT, I'm not going to go into the GOAT conversation because we all know that there's like a lot of drama with is it Michael, is it LeBron? But like if he wins and if he doesn't get injured and ends up coming back and closing out that series, averaging 32 and doing what he does, and then he went and beat Minnesota. I mean, I'm not Minnesota, beat the Pacers, and then goes to the finals and wins. You're talking 2 championships back to back. Like you're starting to talk about like that level. You're scratching the like. You're scratching like, wait, can we start talking about LeBron and Kobe? Like one more? Like
at the very least, you're scratching with his name amongst the best of the Celtics.
Yes.
Right? Which in itself is impressive.
Yes.
When you start mentioning him, when you start mentioning Tatum in there with the McHales and the Birds and the rest of those great Celtics that's come through that franchise, that organization, that in itself is going to lend, it's going to raise some eyebrows.
If you won this year, you're already, listen, in my opinion, I love my guy Paul Pierce. Like, but
absolutely,
he's already, in my opinion, past what Pierce was able to do. Because Pierce
that's a good question, bro. That we may have to double that back within that comparison because I had never really thought about that. And as much sports as I talk, I never really thought about comparing to Paul Pierce and everything that Paul Pierce he did. And that's going to be something we need to double back and talk about. I like that conversation.
See, Paul Pierce like put Boston back on the map. Like Boston was known in the 80s. Oh, Larry Bird and all them. They won the championships. LA, Boston. But it wasn't until Paul Pierce showed up in the scene, the truth. And he came out and he was the man. But of course, he needed the big 3, right? And whether or not the big 3 was awesome, but let's call it what it is. 1 championship.
Yep.
1.
Yep.
Like whatever reason, they ran into a buzzsaw with the Lakers one year and they just didn't accomplish the things they thought they could. Whereas in my opinion, Jason Tatum is doing it with less. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, like
all Hall of Famers.
I don't know if you remember Eddie House. Like
Eddie House. Yep.
Like they had a squad.
Rondo, eventually a Hall of Famer.
Rondo could be a Hall of Famer in my opinion. I mean, he's done it all, and he did it for a long time. You remember he did it with LeBron. He did it with everybody. So he's the guy. So then you look at Tatum, and Tatum's the guy. I feel like So I think he did more for Boston sports in the short period he's been a star And it's sad because I feel like that's what life is about, though. It's about that one moment. And he got injured, terrible injury, and it derailed this season, and it could derail the next season. Like that's what it's looking like.
That's the question mark is, well, we're not going to get him next season,
Yeah.
right? You're going to be dependent on Jaylen Brown. Well, they got to bring somebody in.
Yeah,
they got to bring somebody in, right?
Yeah.
So what's going to happen when they bring that somebody in is going to be the question. How does that break up that chemistry of that team? Because folks, if they bring somebody in, somebody's got to go out.
Yep, and unfortunately, Jason Tatum's going to miss. I mean, look at when Durant injured his Achilles. It was the whole. He didn't come back to the end of the following season. So,
but it gives you a sense of hope because Kobe recovered well.
Yes,
obviously Durant recovered well. They had to sit out. Yeah. Right. So he'll be fine once he hits the court. But the time in between, what is that going to do to that franchise while he's not playing?
They're going to be
all this shifting around with personnel. What's going to happen to that franchise? Because Boston, you guys are riding. You were at the mountaintop.
Yeah,
it was a real shot that you guys could go back to back. Now what's going to happen? That's going to be big, man.
It's going to be big. And listen, like Brad Stevens is going to have his hands full with who's he keep? They already said, like, listen, before Jason Tatum injury, if you look at the stories, they were already saying we're not the salary is outrageous. Like this, they're already going to make significant changes. And then, I mean, listen, we do have some guys on the squad though that we're doing big things though, like Peyton Pritchard. Like, I mean, like he's never going to be a star, but he's a shooter. So I'm excited to see what happens though, because Brad Stevens figures shit out. He's the man. So like we might bring in some crazy, some crazy shit, but it's a year without
the problem with that success, like Pritchard and Derek White, is that if I'm in that conference, I'm gonna get my money together to break up that dynamic.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pay like if I'm Cleveland and I need outside shooting, I'm gonna get Pritchard. I'm gonna go pay him. You know what I'm saying?
That's why it's hard to keep those guys, because Peyton Pritchard's the guy who can get after the season he had.
Correct.
It won't matter if he ends up not being good without that squad.
It'll matter.
We broke up the Celtics so we have a better chance of winning. We'll pay Peyton $16 million a season for 4 years, and that's okay. But we're going to break up that dynamic. And by the way, White is going to be a hot commodity, bro.
Hot commodity, brother. Commodity. It's like obviously Giannis is the big piece, right? And if I'm Milwaukee, I'm trying to bring in Derek White with Giannis to keep Giannis. Or if I'm Indiana, I need to strengthen my team next season, I'm gonna get Derek White. It's just they're gonna be the value of those guys are gonna be so high.
He made himself like, bro, if he had this season a year before, before he signed that contract, there's no doubt in my mind that his agent. There's no way his agent agrees to the contract he signed. I think it's like $20 million a season. Like, there's no way. There's no way. This dude would have been like, nope, I'm going to go be a star on any other team, and I'm going to command like almost super max type shit. Like I'm going to be up there with the boys because he is that guy. I mean, he is that guy. I mean, so we got lucky. The Celtics got lucky. They built this team with guys like nobody thought Derek White was going to be like that. Like, no, like if anybody who tells you that's lying. If they were like, oh man, like I knew Derek White was going to be a superstar, like no way,
lies.
Like you lied. But it just so happened that I was like, holy shit. I mean, you got Jason Tatum, you got Derek White, you got fucking Porzingis, you got Jalen. Yep. They have a squad, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be the favorites to win the championship next year. I just don't think so.
Hey man, Josh, you're a favorite of mine now, though, man. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love being here, and it's always great to talk to new people and learn a little bit about someone new. And I'm sure we'll be in touch very soon here.